What's going on, everyone? Welcome to Cleveland Pulse YouTube channel. I am your host, Justin Harold, and with me, as always, my co-host, Jeff Santa. Today, we are going to do a quick reaction to the Cleveland Browns 2021 schedule release. We have what we think is the correct schedule release here early. So we're going to go off of that, but we're going to give you our quick thoughts on week to week, or just the opponents. We're going to list the opponents out for you and then potentially go over a little bit of our thoughts on some of these games in the span of weeks of opponents. So with that being said, Jeff, how you doing, my guy?
I'm doing good. We're going to talk about preliminary scheduling. I think everybody should know at this point that Kansas City week 1 in Arrowhead is the case. Interesting. I think that's interesting play from the NFL. I might not have scheduled it exactly like that, but nevertheless, I digress. I don't work for the NFL. I'm sure they make, billions of dollars, not kind of randomly. So they know what they're doing. Here's what I'm going to start off with. Pittsburgh, hardest schedule in the NFL. Number one hardest schedule. This is based off of winning percentages of teams last season. Pittsburgh, number one. Baltimore, number two. Cincinnati is number tied for sixth, and your Cleveland Brownies coming in at number 9. So we have a top 10 hardest schedule in the league, but the two teams that are in competition with us for the AFC preseason, you would think, preseason, you would say that the Steelers and the Ravens are, probably, and the Browns are your three people that are going to be contending for the AFC North Championship. They're number 1 and number 2 for hardest schedule. So I just wanted to start with that.
Absolutely, and that's a great thing. It means a uphill battle for those two teams and fighting for that division title. Yeah, I mean, like Jeff said, Kansas City was confirmed very early on this morning, and so was the Green Bay game for Christmas Day, which is very interesting. We could see, a trip to Lambeau with a potentially Aaron Rodgers-less Green Bay
Yep.
team, which would do very well for us. And if it's the opposite, it will be a hell of a game. So on Christmas Day too. But with that being said, I'm just gonna list out the games week by week right now. We're not gonna say anything until we get to all the way to week 18. Remember, there is a new game this year. We have 17 games to be played. So with that being said, week 1, Kansas City at Kansas City. Week 2, game opener or home opener for the Browns against Houston Texans. Week 3 at home against Chicago Bears. Week 4 at Minnesota against the Vikings. Week 5 at Los Angeles against the Chargers. Week 6 back at home against Arizona Cardinals. Week 7 Denver Broncos at home. I think that's Thursday Night Football in parentheses there. Week 8 at home against Pittsburgh. Week 9 at Cincinnati. Week 10 at New England. Week 11 back home against Detroit Lions. Week 12 at Baltimore, Sunday Night Football. Week 13, we have the bye. Week 14, we come out of the bye and play the Ravens again, but at home this time. That's an interesting thing that we should probably talk about. I didn't even
Very.
notice that. Week 15, Las Vegas Raiders at home for Sunday Night Football. Week 16 at Green Bay, Christmas Day. Week 17 at Pittsburgh, Sunday Night Football again. Week 18, Cincinnati at home to finish off the season. So there's a total of 5 primetime games on the list. 2 of them are at home and 3 of them are away. So, Jeff, how do you think about what's been said here? I mean, 17 games this season. I think the one nice thing that me and you have already talked about is that bye is very late in the season.
Absolutely. The bye is very late in the season. That is interesting. How that, in our preliminary talks before we started the recording, we didn't even really notice that Baltimore was back to back, obviously with the bye stuck in the middle. But just to confirm, the Cleveland Browns did just tweet 9 minutes ago about the schedule, 14 minutes ago. So I threw that up as a retweet. Make sure you follow us over at Pulse Cleveland on Twitter, at Pulse Cleveland. No underspaces, no dashes, no hyphens, but just to make sure that you get, all the retweets and all of our news coming straight to your feed. But I like the bye week. I do like the bye week. I love Christmas Day. I like the 4 primetime games. I think that we should have been, I don't know though. It's, you could argue that we should have been primetime week 1. But I almost guarantee we're going to have Tony Romo on the call week 1 against Chiefs, which is already making me mad, which might be a cold take or a hot take, however you look at it. I'm just not a big Tony Romo fan. I honestly cannot stand when he's on the 4 o'clock game calls.
That's
But
interesting.
I cannot stand him. I think
I
he's
love Tony
annoying.
Romo.
I'd rather listen to the. I wish the Sunday Night Crew did every game, Chris and Alan, Chris, but I like the schedule. I think it's interesting how the NFL is doing it this year. I feel like this is uncharted territory for them because we have not had this. There's a 17th game this year, so I'm sure that hopefully there was a lot of consulting about bye weeks. We talked about the Pittsburgh's is week 7, Baltimore's week 8. So, two teams that could be in the playoffs, and the Browns having a week 13 bye is really nice.
Yeah. So looking at this official schedule that the Browns did tweet out, thank you for saying that, Jeff. I went immediately over to look at this. The only game on that list that we do not have confirmation that we already talked about or already said something about was that Las Vegas Raiders game. It is to be decided. That's why I think there's the speculation
Saturday or Sunday.
Yeah, that it might be a
weird
primetime night game on the weekend. We will see about that, but that's the only correction that needs to be made from what we said earlier. So, quick look over it. Me and Jeff had a little bit of talks before. Kansas City, obviously a really tough game to open up against at Kansas City. Arrowhead's I think they're gonna have full capacity, is what the rumor is, what I've seen. So that's a loud stadium. First game back at full capacity. That's a tough game for the Browns, who just assembled a new defense. They're going to have to work some kinks out. Obviously, that happened last year with our defense against Ravens, first game of the year. So that's tough. But coming home against Houston as the opener, the Texans, I think that's great because we don't know if Deshaun Watson's going to play. And even if he does, that team's kind of a mess right now. I think that's great. We get Chicago again at home. I think that's a win. We go to Minnesota. I think that's a win. Chargers, I think that's a win. And then we have the Arizona Cardinals. So I have us winning 4 games out of our first 5 up until that Arizona game. Jeff, what are you thinking of those first 5 games?
I know this is going to sound pessimistic, but as far as the Chiefs and Texans go, I think that I think most people, if you're looking at that, you kind of expect to lose the game at Arrowhead, and then you expect to smoke the Texans, which is nice because the NFL kind of hopefully gives us a layup. Even if they have Deshaun Watson, it should be a layup at home as a home opener, so that's fun. But either way, if you look at it, if you split those 2 games, that's a win for me. Even if you beat the Chiefs and lose to the Texans, that's fine. That's honestly fine. That might sound a little pessimistic. Bears, I hope Justin Fields is a starter by then. I really hope Justin Fields is a starter by then. Justin Fields versus Baker Mayfield is must-see TV for me, 100,000 million %. I think we beat the Bears, though, at home. The Bears are abysmal, even with Justin Fields. Yep. The Vikings, I don't know, man. Where is that game? Is that game away? That game is in Minnesota. I don't know. The Vikings might be all right. Cousins, Dalvin Cook, Justin Jefferson, their defense might suck. It's hard to win in Minnesota, I think. I'll chalk that up as a win, though. And I think we lose on the road to the Chargers. I think Justin Herbert outplays Baker Mayfield, and the Chargers defense nudges us out. So I'll give us 3-2 through the first 5 weeks.
3-2. Just to go back to your Bears comment with Justin Fields, I hope for the sake that he gets to sit, because I just don't want him to get fucked. But that's just my opinion. So moving on from that point, I do agree with you. It would be must-watch TV in Ohio for that point.
I think he'll be playing at that point. I really do think he'll be the starter by that point. They're not going to keep Andy Dalton. They're going to be 0-2, and Andy Dalton's going to.
We'll see. Moving on from that. So then we got Arizona at home, Denver at home, and Pittsburgh at home. Arizona is a tough team. I think that's going to be rough for me. It's going to be hard because this is just like we're at the point where we're such a good team that I just I'm going to say a lot of wins here. But I know I need to hit a breaking point at some point. So I'm gonna say we lose to the Cardinals. I'm gonna say we beat Denver. We beat Pittsburgh. So lose at home to Arizona, win against Denver at home, win against Pittsburgh at home. And those are our 3 home games in a row. What are your thoughts there?
I think we win all 3 of those games. I think we're 3-0 in those games. I think we beat the Cardinals. I think we smoke the Broncos, and I think we smoke the Steelers week 8 because I think they'll have a backup in by then.
You you've already upset me with your predictions.
Why?
I
Because
don't see how
why?
I don't
We're
see how
gonna
you
win
have us
home
losing to
games
the
this year.
I don't see
We're
how you
gonna,
have us losing to the Chargers but beating the
dude.
Cardinals.
Dude, you just don't understand. We're on a back to we're on 2 weeks of a back to back there, and we have to go out west coast to LA. That's gonna be a hard game. Justin Herbert is gonna play well all year if he's per him healthy, but we're gonna be coming back from Sunday. No,
That's a
that's Sunday to Sunday. So
that's a game that we like if in
that might be the Chargers game might be our first loss. If we go in and upset the Kansas City at Arrowhead, the Chargers are going to be our first loss because we're going to beat the Texans, hopefully, and the Bears are lost, and the Vikings, I think we could hopefully squeeze out a road game against them. I don't know. I think the Vikings, they might surprise some people this year, but going out West Coast on the back end
on
of
double.
on a 2 week bye or 2 week away, I don't like the looks of that. I think we lose that game.
All right, that's fair. That's fair. All right, moving on. We got Cincinnati away. That's a win. New England away. I don't know who the quarterback's going to be at that point for them, and so I think they're, I think that's a good team still. I think that's kind of a trap game in my mind. Potential trap game. I'm going to still have us winning it at this point. Detroit Lions, I have us winning at home, and Baltimore Ravens away. I'm gonna say, I hate saying, and this is the primetime game. Oh, part of me really wants to say we win this and flip the tables like they did on us last year, and we're so far down the line. They've already had their bye week. I'm gonna say we lose this game against the Ravens. So starting back at Cincinnati, Jeff, what are your thoughts?
Cincinnati, we're on a 4-game winning streak. We go into Foxborough and demolish Bill Belichick. We're on a 5-game winning streak. The Lions are basically a college football team. I don't even care who they have. We're on a 6-game winning streak. And then we get the best of the Baltimore Ravens on a primetime game. We get them back for beating us in the primetime game last year. We're on a 7-game winning streak going into the
winning that game.
We're on a 7-game winning streak going into the bye week.
Wow. Okay. Coming out of the bye week, Baltimore Ravens at home, I have us as a win. Las Vegas Raiders at home, I have that as a win. Jeff, you.
So we have 2 losses right now in my projection. We have 2 losses and 3, 8, 10 wins. So we're 10-3 at the bye week in my projections. Holy crap. Wait, no, it can't be possible.
That's what you have.
Yeah, 10 games. And there's games left. The Ravens out of the bye week, I have us beating the Ravens. Kevin Stefanski is going to become notoriously good out of the bye week, especially we just played them. We are going to beat the Raiders at home, so we're on a 10-game winning streak. I have us losing to the Packers on the road if Aaron Rodgers is the quarterback. If Jordan Love is the quarterback, I have to think about it a little bit more.
We'll assume that Aaron Rodgers is the quarterback.
So we're on a 10-game winning streak. We lose to the Packers, we lose to the Steelers, and we beat the Bengals.
Okay.
We're not sweeping the Steelers in the regular season. Not at Heinz. Not with Heinz having fans.
At Green Bay, I have us losing if it's Aaron Rodgers. At Pittsburgh, I have us beating the Steelers. And Cincinnati, we smoke them. So for me, that means 1, 2.
I have us 12-5.
I have 2. Hold on, sorry. 3, 4. I have us
13-4.
13-4. So I think there's some interesting matchups there and at certain times. So that Baltimore, that like back-to-back Baltimore game.
Yeah, I don't like that.
Crazy. I don't really like that
at all.
That's super interesting. I'm really upset that they didn't swap those games, but obviously they want. I don't know. That's
weird. I don't know why you wouldn't backload the primetime games, especially in the AFC North, closer to the end of the season. Even if it is 2 weeks though. I don't know. Yeah, I totally agree with you. I don't understand why the second Ravens game isn't the primetime game.
Yeah, it's kind of nuts, but we do have the Steelers.
It's kind of lame.
2 or 3 games after that in primetime. But all right, 12-5, and 13-4
Yep.
for the season. That is the schedule breakdown for your Cleveland Browns in the
Early schedule breakdown.
early schedule. We will definitely do one more of these probably after the preseason, right before week 1 starts, something like that. But with that all being said, thank you guys all for your support throughout these videos and everything. If you guys could please leave a like and subscribe, hit the notification bell so you stay tuned for every video that we're posting. We're going to try to give you guys as much news as we can break out there, and we appreciate it. We want to hear from you guys, and we'll see you in the next one. Peace.